but this looks like a guitar I would like.
It's pretty cool. We're calling this one Avocado Burst.
Ja, hi, der Jan hier von Musiker nStuff und wir sind hier in LA im berühmten Ibanez LA Custom Shop und ja, wir werden uns jetzt hier mal ein bisschen umgucken und haben netterweise einen netten Begleiter, der uns hier mal zeigen wird, wer hier so wie arbeitet und wo hier die Magie passiert. Viel Spaß schon mal. So yeah, maybe you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the place here.
Okay, yeah. My name's Mike Orrigo. I do Ibanez Artist Relations here in sunny Sun Valley, California. Been working here for about 6 years now, almost. And we just wrapped up the NAMM Show. So here we are. Let's start a little tour. Show you guys around a little bit. Right when you walk in, the front door here, we have some of the models on display, some of the legendary artists that we have here at Ibanez. So of course, you know, some people might recognize these guitars. This is Joe, of course, on the right here. And we have this legendary Steve Vai 7-string. It's one he used on the Whitesnake tour way back in '91. And of course, Paul Gilbert, an early PGM model that's been heavily modified through the years. These two guitars on the ends here have roots here in LA. They were both made here as prototypes. This one is an early Universe. And what's really cool about this one is that this is an original edge. It's not a low pro.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a rarity. You don't see many of those. Now, of course, we have a tribute to Paul Gray. Paul was left-handed, so we a lot of his stage basses we had to make here at the custom shop. So we had a few fretboards left over. You know, we wanted to do something nice after he'd passed.
Yeah. And how does it normally work? Are the artists coming here to talk about their instruments, or are you doing most of the things on the phone with them?
I mean, we're international, so it's nice when we can do it face to face. You know, I always feel like, you know, it's easier to kind of talk to the artists, converse with them about, you know, the builds and stuff. But a lot of it is over the phone or through emails. I like to do it over the phone a lot though, because I feel like you get a feel and you can explain things better. Emails, it's bouncing back and forth, you know. Yeah. 305 radius or 430, what does that even mean? You know, so I can kind of explain things a little bit better over the phone. There's a better connection maybe. But of course in faces, you know, or face to face is the best way. So yeah, this is kind of our Hall of Fame up here. So this is where I like to usually start the custom realm. This is I call this our guitar file cabinet. This is a bunch of some older discontinued models or just samples, really templates to go by. It's nice to have this stuff around because ultimately, you know, you can get everything on a piece of paper, measurements, you can measure everything. But sometimes it's nice to pick up and get a feel for something. You know, where roundovers start, you know, neck joints. They use these, just kind of have an idea of, you know, how to go about everything. I mean, Tack, our master builder, he's really hands-on. He's one of the last few guys, I think, that really does the majority of the woodworking by hand. You know, roundovers and carving necks and stuff like that. So it's really cool to, you know, be a part of this.
Yeah, so most of the woodwork is really made by hand?
A lot of it, I mean, we do have a CNC machine here, and we use it quite a bit, but a lot of it is done by hand. And, you know, Tack might be able to better explain this process better than me. I just kind of make the spec sheets, and all of a sudden a cloud of dust happens, and there's the guitar. I'm not really a luthier, but yeah, I know what they use here is they use it, you know, constantly Tack kind of come in, but we're Okay, you know, put it back. You know, something like that. Got a bunch of templates. Like some of these are older bodies too. Some of them we don't even do anymore. This one's kind of cool. This is where the JS 20th kind of started from.
Yeah.
Prototype. Kind of see how, you know, we dropped that 3D Silver Surfer inlay in there. So that's where that started. Yes.
So, and are you doing here like prototypes for serial models?
Sometimes there's some, we do some R&D where we'll come up with some ideas for Oshinogaki, our head office, to maybe utilize into their production design.
And would you say like you are part of the process of getting input from the artists? What might be good ideas for the next years?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we constantly utilize information from artists because these ultimately are, you know, trendsetters. You know, tastemakers really in our industry. These guys are kind of like, you know, like you have fashion designers, or I mean, this is kind of they make what I don't know what the best way to describe it, but they would be pretty much tastemakers for our industry. So. You know, we cultivate a lot of their information, or, you know, what they tend to gravitate towards, and try to, you know, incorporate that with our production lines and ultimately make the best product we can make, you know, for the consumers. Yeah.
What would you say from the first contact with an artist until he has his guitar? How many time does it? How much time?
It can really vary. It can really vary. Sometimes it's easy builds. Can't really say because every project is so unique and so different, and you know, the more bells and whistles your guitar is going to have, the longer it takes to make.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough to really say. You know, give a time frame. But and we have pretty limited manpower here. We don't have, you know, there's not like 20 guys, you know, chopping stuff up. So it does take some time, but it is a custom built guitar. It's literally built by hand for you, the artist. Yeah. And I don't know, the reputation kind of speaks for itself, I guess. I really don't have to say much. People seem to really be interested in the LA. That's why you guys are here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So this is the guitar file cabinet, I like to call it. You know, we have, this is probably the more important part. We have like grip shapes and stuff, neck samples that, you know, because I think the hardest things to translate on paper are grip shapes.
Yeah.
I think really helps builders to, you know, kind of copy a neck when they have it physically in your hand. Because you can say C, D, U, but what does that really mean? It's all subjective. Yeah. You know, so by having the grip shape here, when Tack's carving a neck, he can really, like, you know, get a feel for it and imitate it as closely as possible. I'll do some cool ones. This is an old Joe Satriani one sample. Oops, sorry. This is an old Steve Vai one. Very thin, you can feel that. He actually prefers them a little thicker these days. We haven't really used that template in a while. Really super thin, very Ibanez. Yeah, so that's the file cabinet. We kind of got some binding and stuff up here. Just trying to keep everything everywhere. So then over here we have some unrealized guitars. Keep a various stock of tone woods readily available, you know, because it's kind of what we do. We have everything from, you know, some Purple Heart, mahogany. You go to your maples and alder, basswood. You get some of the more exotic ones down there, like Jatoba and Babinga. We use for like neck support stripes. You can see like on our guitars. Yeah, and then there's bunch of stuff like that. I don't think maybe we should show too much of it over there. That's kind of
Okay.
so yeah, that's our wood supply. So once we build a spec sheet with an artist, I'll have all the kind of, the spec sheet almost becomes like dogma for that guitar. That's the list. That's how it's going to work out. So once that's finalized, you really can't change it once it's begun work. So once we have it, we have the wood tack. You know, we get all these from local suppliers, and it's tone wood. It's not, you know, it's wood specifically for making instruments. It's not, you know, not regular lumber yards that, you know, just didn't cut it for building a house. Once we have everything kind of sorted on the spec sheet, they'll select the wood, and it will start to come in here. And this is the wood shop. So yeah, this is our wood shop. This is where the magic begins to happen. You can see the various machinery here, and I'm not an expert on what all these things do. You'll talk to the man; he'll tell you. But you can see we have quite a collection here, and it's really cool to be able to watch Tack work. And I mean, Tack is a living legend. And it really starts here. This is all our templates. You can see through Ibanez history, and from there you have pickup route templates. And then over this way, there's some fretboard templates. I'm not the luthier, so can't say too much. Top copier here. Yeah, so that's pretty much the wood shop.
And it's like Tack is the only one who really builds the guitar from
Tack is our master builder. He's the custom shop manager. Some of the guys have been working with wood, but primarily Tack does most of our woodworking. And then once the woodworking's done, we go into, we do a pre-assembly first, and we prepare for paint. So after woodworking, we'll go to the paint booth. We'll check that out. This is where the magic continues to happen. We'll pop in the drying room. I can't really open because I don't know what's wet.
Yeah.
This is where the kind of stuff dries here and cures. Actually, let me grab Aaron. Aaron's our paint guy. Yeah, so here you can see some custom projects in here. At any given point, we have anywhere from like 10 to 15 projects happening at once in various stations of completedness. So, you know, the output's very low, just because we have the limited manpower and there's so much involved. It takes, I would say on average, it takes about anywhere from 80 to like 100 hours of like total labor for guitars to be started to completed, from when the spec sheet gets turned in to the actual completed, project. So that's the paint booth. So once everything's done, everything kind of gets saddled up in here. This is the final assembly and setup room. And yeah, this is pretty cool. This is the room with the most character, probably.
Yeah. So you know whose bass this is?
This is a bass for Felipe Andro. Maybe I shouldn't say. How do you pronounce his name? Andrioli. This is a bass for Felipe Andrioli. This one actually we brought over to NAMM. We're doing some setup work to it right now. So this is Aaron Stone. It's Jordan Saunders, and that's Alex Kirk. And these are our custom shop employees. These guys are the hardest working men in show business, I like to say. No, really, I don't like to say that. I just say that.
Besides James.
Besides James Brown, the rest of the stuff. So yeah, from any given time. So TAC does mostly the woodworking. Then he kind of hands off the projects to these guys. Aaron does most of the painting.
Yeah.
And then Alex, who's kind of our senior tech here, will do Alex wears many hats. He goes from painting, assembling, to like pretty much everything. Alex and Aaron have also been starting to do some woodworking themselves as well. That's why I say TAC does primarily all of it, but these guys are coming up too. Jordan's our latest addition. He's been helping out with the artist setups and repairs. You know, we offer a service to these guys. You know, we give them it's my responsibility to make sure that my dudes are all set up, and you know, these are their tools. So try to make sure they have the best tools around.
Yeah.
And it takes maintenance. So that's what we do here. We just kind of upkeep and a lot of maintenance. That's a big part of it too. It's not only just the custom shop, but also set up and modifications and stuff like that. We tend to do a lot of that on just normal production models as well.
Yeah, and does it happen that one of your models will become a signature model for normal production? So you have to make like samples for that?
Yeah, that process has happened in the past where we'll make something in the custom shop and you know, the artist will give it a ton of exposure and we'll notice there's a demand there and we'll start to see about, you know, the possibilities of making it a production model. That seems to be the most natural way to do that. That's where a lot of our signature production models come from. Something that's worked on here at the custom shop, or you know, whether through modifications or you know, refinishes or just fully custom, you know, spec'd out guitars. You can see some guitars in like little various states of completedness. This is our this one, the woodworking is completely done. This is a guitar for Nita Strauss. And you can see this is about where we consider like 50% done, where the woodworking is complete, but there's no sealer on it. It hasn't been sealed yet. And yeah, I don't know much else to say about that. This one too, this is an RGA that's been completely, woodworking's done now it's just waiting for, you know, painting, the finished process. But at this stage you can get a feel for like how heavy the guitar is going to be and stuff like that. So that is, this is the assembly room. We have a bunch of parts and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the shop.